Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, party people in the place to be. As you can see, I be the last EMP and sitting directly up.
Rah! It's the B space RIGHTEOUS. And I might just be the motherfucking best father on the planet because I got a child that's 2 and knows how to spell her last name with 9 letters. Who better than me and shit, right? Big up Amani Righteous.
Indeed.
Peace.
Indeed. Peace, party. We man, we're here once again. The city is hustling and bustling. Everybody running around getting their turkey gravy and cornbread stuffing and all that. You know what I mean? Getting ready for so-called Thanksgiving, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is, man. We're broadcasting live and direct from the glorious city of Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, and some say sisterly affection.
I think it's a little too much sisterly affection going on now.
Hey, exactly. It has a whole new connotation nowadays. Yeah, man. It gets crazy, but we're here. We're broadcasting again from basically the area known as Chinatown. And this is Big Bad Radio. As always, there's a lot going on in the city. Most of which surrounding the so-called holiday tomorrow. Again, we briefly touched on this last show. Definitely, if you partake in these events and use it for a time for family to get the so-called 2 million. In fact, now there's obviously less than that because of a lot of the ailments and things that they've had on these reservations and things of that nature, and just being eradicated in general. Via Western hegemony. Don't forget about the 2 million Indians. You know what I mean? The so-called Native Americans, the indigenous peoples of the Americas, some of which came here from regions surrounding in and of India, migrated here. It's definitely be righteous. Is definitely when I read the lessons and go over that, to know that exchange between Master Farad and Elijah was so on point to give us the blueprint to what happened well before modern scientists agreed to this whole thing about the land bridge from, Asia and how the so-called Native American migrated here and all of that.
No question.
Again, and our lessons say that they were exiled.
Absolutely.
However it went down, they definitely came here from said regions.
Absolutely. Yeah, they didn't just get here by chance.
Exactly. And it took modern scientists to catch up to what Farad and Elijah were putting together back then. Definitely powerful stuff, man. But yeah, man, anybody that's into it, do the knowledge, check the history of the Native American. If you're going to subscribe to the entire notion of Thanksgiving and the entire notion of those individuals who assisted the early European settlers in their survival. A lot of the European settlers who first came here had very limited knowledge of what the geography and landscape of America was all about. So when they got here, they didn't really know which crops to plant, what was readily digestible for consumption, and how to build homes here and things of that nature. So the so-called Native Americans showed them, those, I can imagine those first few winters was probably real cruel for the European first coming over here. And had it not been for the original people that they encountered when they got here, we may be having a whole different experience right now. The United States perhaps would not be what it is. America would not look the way it looks. And with that being said, if we're talking about a day where we give thanks, definitely, give thanks to those Native Americans, many of which some tribes totally eradicated and wiped out just from never having come in contact with certain groups of people who carried even some things as common as they say the common cold is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That was so foreign to the original man's composition that lived here at that time that many of them died just from a cold, or just from the whooping cough and things of that nature, and that's not even to mention, the sexually transmitted diseases that many of those said colonizers brought here, when they gazed upon the beauty of the original people that were here and began to, ravish and take many of them for wives themselves and things of that nature, and in many instances just bum rush them and take whatever they could, by force. It just brought a lot of confusion, and a lot of turmoil. So, when we have to put into perspective when we talk about a so-called holiday, that what for many people who aren't aware think is a festive time to be, and don't get me wrong, we obviously all use it as a time. It's a day off from work. I'll attest to that. It's any day off from work is a good day. And it's an opportunity to get together with family and friends and so forth and so on. But if you are doing that, at least have a discussion and be somewhat knowledgeable about the original people who made it possible for this day to even be celebrated in the manner that it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just all about some dude running around with a top hat and a musket shooting turkeys and all that. Like, you know what I mean? It's about those brothers and sisters of the various tribes, whether you call it the 5 civilized tribes, the Choctaw, Blackfoot, Cherokee, so forth and so on, or you're talking about, the so-called Sioux, which was actually the Lakota. Sioux was a term that the French used for them.
Word.
So it's like the Lakota or the Dakota, you know what I mean? On down to the Central and South American regions, you know what I mean? The Azteca, the Maya, so-called, or the Key, as they used in their own indigenous tongue, the Olmec, I had an opportunity some years ago. I went on tour with a group called Gorillas, who are very big in like Europe, and they put out a record and a series of videos, all animation style, and so that caught on with the late 90s and early 2000 era. I got an opportunity to do 13 U.S. cities, 12 U.S. cities, and the last city we did was Mexico City, Mexico. So for nothing else, I agreed to go just because the money was cool. It wasn't like I was like, coming home rich or nothing like that, but the money was cool, a few stacks a show. And but the highlight of the show was being able to visit Mexico City and go to a site outside of Mexico City called Teotihuacan, where they have the pyramids down there, the largest being the Pyramid of the Sun. When you at a certain point, after I think it's like 12 years, every 12 years, the sun hits the side of the temple to the point where visually you see a serpent, or the serpent god they call Quetzalcoatl, moving down the side of the pyramid.
Word.
Yeah, the geography on this joint is ill. The guide that took us around also took us inside, because I'm with for lack of a better term, a white rock band that's getting paper all over the world. I was able to tag along till I had like the ill, trip experience. They was treating them like royalty, and I'm the one.
Now, what band was this again?
The Gorillas.
The Gorillas?
Yeah, Gorillas. They're an animated band. It was like real popular on MTV at one point or whatever. People that are into anime and almost like Japanese styled animation are very much into this group. They got records with like the first track they put out is called Clint Eastwood with Delta Funky Homo Sapien, and that kind of did well. But they got records with like everybody from Eminem to De La Soul to D12 to, I mean, you name it. But So yeah, the tour guide took us to another temple, and I got it all written down at the crib somewhere. He took us to another temple where when you stand dead center and about 30 feet away from the temple, but dead center, if you clap, the echo that comes back is of a bird chirping.
Get the fuck out of here.
If you take one step to the left or to the right, you won't, it's a regular clap coming back. But at this precise point, you clap, and back at you is chirp, 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 chirp. So if I clap, it's chirp, chirp. The mathematics that they dealt with was so accurate that they knew how to do those things. And I mean, I was sitting there just like, yo, with my mouth open, like, okay, is there somebody over there? Like, and they're like, no, this is no trickery or, tomfoolery or none of that. It's like they dealt with mathematics, and they built these temples so precise that, again, at a certain time of the year, people from all around the world go to visit this site whenever this, I got it written down again somewhere, but whenever this specific date or increment of years takes place, people from all over the world venture there to have this so-called spiritual experience, to see Quetzalcoatl, who is the winged serpent god, according to Mayan philosophy. It moves down. You see it moving down the side of the temple, but you got to be there at noon during that particular year to see it. Fascinating, very fascinating. I climbed to the top of the Pyramid of the Sun. It's actually the second largest pyramid system outside of the Valley of the Kings at Giza in Egypt. So, that's definitely next on my bucket list. But I've seen and witnessed the archaeology. I'm sorry, the architecture rather involved in building these structures. And again, it's just a testament to what the original man left in his original state is capable of doing, and what he's left to the world. Because again, scientists are still trying to figure out how these people who were quote unquote primitive and had no foreseeable tools, no cutting tools, no power saws, no drills, were able to build these monuments with such mathematical precision that they stand to this day. And they're earthquake proof, because that region of the world is known to experience earthquakes. Everything outside of this complex at Teotihuacan, when an earthquake happens, suffers from the earthquake, except these pyramids. So that in itself is very fascinating. And again, we just salute and applaud the so-called Native Americans, Indigenous Americans, whether they be from all the way up to the Micmac, all the way up there in Canada, to all the way down in Central and South America, and all of those great people down there. I know another place on my bucket list is definitely Machu Picchu. Definitely would like to get there before.
Down in what's that in Peru?
Right? Yeah, yes, sir. And I've heard things about the inside of that temple that are fascinating as well.
I mean, I did the joints down in Mexico. Me and the Earth was down there, and she was all excited. She climbed to the top, fucked her shoes all up. We was it was crazy. It was beautiful though. You know what I'm saying? It was beautiful. I wasn't climbing up all, I'm like, go ahead, knock yourself out. But yeah, it's dope. I mean, it's dope to be able to be, travel and experience those things.
Yes, sir.
So did you learn all of that like on that guided trip as far as the history of that area, or is that something else that you picked up at Lincoln?
Yeah, definitely that you mentioned. Definitely Lincoln University, man. I was first heard of the Olmec via a book called They Came Before Columbus by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
I remember that book.
Yes, sir. And he came my freshman year and lectured, as well as my junior year. And
where is he from?
He's from British Guyana.
Right.
Yes, sir. He was born there. He's since transitioned, but he was born there. If I'm not mistaken, educated everywhere from Oxford to certain prestigious American universities, first original man in a lot of the universities he attended. You know, came from, you know, himself admittedly a small backwater village where there was no plumbing and things of that nature, and just set out in life questioning, you know, the history of original people and knowing that there had to be something greater to us than just, you know, transatlantic slavery. So he, you know, made that his life's work to expose and uncover everything about our history. So he came out with the book They Came Before Columbus. Obviously, many people who are aware of that know that that details the fact that when Columbus got to the United States, he saw evidence, physical as well as physical in terms of actual people, and then actual artifacts that the so-called African had been here before, well before Columbus ever set foot. You know, he was finding pockets of people in remote regions that today look like you and I, you know, and you know, it was like he was like, how do you explain that? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, I first heard him talk about the Olmec and those large.
He lectured at Lincoln?
Yes, sir.
That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I can't front on, man. It was a party in school, and you know, I drank and smoked probably more than I should have. But when it came to stuff like that, Lincoln was the truth. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, he was the first one I heard lecture about the Olmec, who there are these colossal stone heads at a site called Tres Zapotes, somewhere in Mexico. Scattered throughout the region, where certain archaeologists in the 1800s started digging up the ground, and lo and behold, they find these giant heads buried in the ground. And when you look at the faces, it's clear that they're original people. Wide noses, thick lips, with 7 braids in their hair, which was the same style used by certain tribes in West Africa, you know, during that same time period that those people would have been there. He was the first one to talk about King Abubakari from I want to say Mali. Yeah, King Abubakari from Mali.
Now, you know what's funny?
Yes, sir.
I didn't even know that was like a prominent name.
Okay.
Right? But Divine Equalities, her youngest 2 brothers, the father's name is Bubakar.
Right, that's probably that's where he got it from.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he's from Mali.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually from Mali.
So that's probably the most prominent name you could have.
He's a piece of peace brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is funny. That's funny because I used to always tease.
Right, like what kind of name is that? Right.
Yeah. And that's a prominent name. Damn, it's funny. Like when you know history,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
This King Abubakari, and if I'm not mistaken, about the 11th century, sent out three ships to explore what was on the other side of the Atlantic. One ship returned. The one ship that returned, with not even the entirety of its crew, detailed a story that they had encountered a storm that carried 2 of the ships further westward. The one ship that returned said that they were able to, you know, weather the storm. You know, the ship was damaged, but it managed to make its way back to Mali. But the other 2 ships were quote unquote lost at sea. So it's theorized that the remaining individuals of those 2 ships actually made their way to the Americas and became the progenitors of the Olmec.
Oh, word.
Who went in turn to teach the Mayan so-called about building pyramids. So yeah, man, fascinating history, man. But definitely, I mean, it again just gives credence to the fact that the black man is the original man, and you know, we've left our mark all over the planet.
No question.
And that again, when it comes to dealing with the Native American, the so-called Native American Um, they are original people as well. And if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, know somewhat about the history of those so-called Native Americans and honor them, you know, especially because many of them have given their lives. And we should be able to walk outside right now and run into at least some of those tribes, especially here in Pennsylvania, the Delaware, if I'm not mistaken, like the Lenape, you know, people of that ilk and nature, but now they're gone, you know, so they paid the ultimate sacrifice in that entire tribes have been wiped out under the system of European hegemony. So again, man, if you're getting your Thanksgiving on, just, you know, tilt your hat and have somewhat of a dialogue for the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Yeah. So with that being said, man, we're here. You know, tonight's topic we're dealing with is another great topic brought to the table by Be Righteous concerning hip hop and storytelling. Now, that's definitely one of, in my opinion, the forgotten facets by many of the people who are still actively doing hip hop of lyricism. Every rapper can't. Some rappers got bars, but not every rapper can tell a good story and make it rhyme, make it flow, have it make sense. To do all of those things in one breath and on one song is not an easy feat. Yet we lived through an era where some people have done it effortlessly
from beginning to end. It
From
was
exactly
no variant. No, it was just a straight story.
Exactly. And obviously one of which we're speaking is Slick Rick, like you were describing the ad libs on The Moment I Feared. Talk about those ad libs.
Okay, so yeah, just to bring everybody into the full scope. Me and the God True Justice is building yesterday, as we know, as we frequently do, and it just popped in my head. I was like, well, God, because a couple, like I guess several shows ago, we talked about storytellers.
Exactly.
And then I was like, well, what would be your top three, story rhymes all time? And he rattled off like two of his joints was the same as mine. I think he said, I got a story to tell. Love's gonna get you, and it was another joint. And I think it was a different, Slick Rick joint. I'm not sure. So then I was like, well, no, so my joints, it's like Blackstone Hour, Chaos, Love's Gonna Get You, and Moment I Feared. And while he was talking and he was running down other joints, I'm like, damn, I forgot all about that. And that's right. And this, that, the third. So we going through different ciphers. And he brings up one that I gotta put on the list too. That's dope. By Organized Confusion. But I'm like, damn, you're right. They do got joints too. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, this gets like deep. And then he was like, a subgenres even with that, because I said story or narrative raps.
Okay.
And a narrative is different than a story. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what he said. His one of his top three was Razzcast.
Okay.
And I'm like, the guy was supposed to come sit in with us, but I don't know what happened to him. He decided to be a mystery God.
Peace to the God True Justice.
So I'm like, no, God, to be honest with you, I gotta put The Moment I Feared at the top of the list, just off the ad libs alone. And I mean, and when I say ad libs, I'm not sure most people are familiar with the song. If you're familiar with Slick Rick. Now, my god brother, big up to E, he put me on Slick Rick. He put me on actually certain songs.
Right.
And the first song he put me on was Moment of. He's like, you got to listen to this. And I listened to it. But then when you go back and you hear this nigga on the second track with the ad libs, and he really don't get in with the ad libs until like the towards the end of the first verse, where he was like, what's up, stupid? Take the fucking chains off. He's going in it, like you hear him, it's him on the other track. And then it's just like, yo, you gotta hit, like, it's so incredible.
Yes, it is.
Because he turns the song, and the track was dope. Everything about this is, it's like, because initially, we all know that this CD was failing coming out the gate,
right,
with Teenage Love,
right.
which is another song, story joint. But
Right.
because True was like Chantilly Store. I was like, no, it's got to be Moment I Feared. And he just goes through, and it's just so vivid with the ad libs. It's crazy, man. So it's just like we gonna play it, and when you hear him, just on other tracks, like like you can't even really, like, other songs are dope, but you can't even really fathom,
Right.
like with this dude talking on this second track, just like he brings the whole story to life. So
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, I was like, yo, those ad libs is crazy. He might have been the first, I think, the first ever to do that.
Yeah,
even
because
whether it was a story or anything.
Or otherwise, right. I can't really remember anyone. You're right. Before that, using ad libs.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, clearly, man. Slick Rick, man. His level of artistry and just what he brings to the table, like, and he's very versatile. He had bars.
I think he was the first to sing on a joint, like, of a new era MC.
Right.
I mean, but no, because they were singing too. Because I mean, Furious 5 had done that. Because we came here tonight, woo, to clear our frustration. So, ladies, move your feet. Yeah, so
right.
they, but his joint was different when he came in. Because
right. It's all because of you. I'm feeling sad and blue. You went away, and now my life is filled with rainy days. And I love you so. How much you'll never know, 'cause you took your love away from me. Yo, man, Slick Rick, man, it gets no better than that, yo.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, that's crazy that he's still ranked top, and he did it over 30 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the 30-year. I think we either coming up on the 30-year, or we just passed the 30-year reunion. And, like, I mean, my sentiments on the rest of his career was like, because people be like, how can you put Biggie up there? Biggie did it 2 CDs,
right?
And it was it only got better.
That's right.
It was either the same or better, and the second CD was a double CD.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
I mean, Slick Rick had he had the one joint. He had the 2 joints with Dougie. He had this one album, which was 80-90%, classic.
Right.
And then his second CD was trash. He did nothing. I don't think he did anything after the second CD.
That's right. That's right.
And the second CD was trash. Like, I mean, to me, it was. I mean, like,
I can't say that I've even heard the entire thing.
I bought it. Then they owe me money.
Dum dee dee dum dee 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 da dee day.
And I ain't had money like that, motherfucker. I lost all my money when I got, what I mean? I lost my physical sight. So I bought that, that cassette with my SSI money and shit. Small money.
Right.
You know, and that nigga took advantage of me.
Yeah, I think that stint of him in prison kind of took the momentum out of perhaps his passion and desire for it.
I mean, the only glimpse that we got of him sounding brilliant. Now, Primo 5 years ago said he was going, 6 years ago, actually over 6 years ago, said he was going to send me a track that him and Rick did together that never got released. So I'll remind him when we take our break. And then the joint that he did with Outkast, that's about the best we heard of him. And he really wasn't like, it was just like the track was popping.
Right.
And then he was just, he was just riding the track. But I mean, like, it wasn't like he said anything, you know what I'm saying? That was like, oh shit.
Right.
I mean, right. And it's sad because, like I told you, several years ago, I did a joint, an event with him. And I just I didn't it wasn't that kind of get down. I didn't even press up on him to be like, yo, what's going on? Why ain't you doing any, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I mean, even I guarantee you, I wonder why Dougie hasn't released anything new. But he still has joints where he worked with other people and he did joints.
Right.
He just hasn't put out anything new in the past 10 years or whatever.
Right.
10 plus years. But it's just like, I mean, You know, yeah, hands down, he got that number one. Them ad libs, nobody's done that, man.
Nobody.
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 So, I
And,
mean,
and with that being said, perhaps it's high time that we check out Rick the Ruler,
yeah.
aka Slick Rick, aka Ricky D. You know what I mean? Live from, I mean, where was he's originally from? What, London?
Yeah, he's originally from the UK.
From what I understand, his parents emigrated here when he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very charismatic fellow, definitely brought a sense of fashion and style to hip hop that was a little bit foreign because he was from somewhere else. So he brought with him the fashion sense and the little
Mm-hmm.
variants from the UK, being um born and raised born in early years in the UK, but from what I understand, his parents emigrated from Jamaica to there.
Right, probably
So
so.
right, so he was one of the first people we saw wearing like suede
Because
ballies.
that's Moni Love's history.
Right, exactly. So we talking about the era of the ballies. He made you know, the Kango really popular. Not just the bucket. While we were wearing the bucket, he was wearing like the Kango Jeff cap and things of that nature. You know, fur Kango at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when you talk about his jewelry, forget about it. He just
Mm-hmm.
he tapped into that whole thing about, okay, if I'm Slick Rick and I'm calling myself the ruler, what would a ruler wear? And I mean, he made it apparent what a ruler would wear, man, because I don't think there's any MC, rapper, whatever that's wore more jewelry, more chunkier jewelry than Slick Rick. Yeah, Run DMC had the ill fat cables,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, Kane has some nice pieces. There's a Gucci link I saw Kane wear that was like the size of two fists next to each
Mm-hmm.
other, two, you know, adult male fists next to each other. He's rocking that. But when it comes to overall pieces, Slick Rick, man, he
And he
just
got a
was like nuts
briefcase
with
and
it.
shit.
Right. Just nuts with it.
Yeah.
I always wondered what his in terms of the jewelry he bought, what was the ending price? Like if he could put a price on how much money he spent on jewelry from day one to at his height, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder what that would be. Really? That's dope. I gotta check that out, man, because you know, it just harkens back to
He must have other investments because I don't think he made that much for music and touring. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
He must got some other shit going
what the
on.
hell was Ricky
Like
D doing, man? He ain't had that work on the block, did he?
he might have it. I mean, you know, he let off on niggas. You know when
Right, when they ran down on him,
yeah.
right.
So
Or actually, wasn't it like his cousin was stealing or trying to extort him or something like
I
that?
don't know. I heard so many different variations of the story. I mean, you probably had to pull it up during a break, but I mean, you know, it's almost like he spoke this shit into existence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he talked about you'll hear it in the song. And so I don't want to, you know,
Yeah. So
you,
check it. We're going to get into a sound set here in the official last word. We're going to set it off with Ricky D, aka Slick Rick the Ruler, and The Moment I Feared here on Big Bad Radio.
tracks, nothing.
That's all you want to do is just freestyle it out.
Yeah, give it people.
Oh my goodness.
I'll just come up later, booba later.
Like,
Yeah.
this nigga's the worst, man.
Yo, that was Joey B. Ellis, aka the singing MC Breeze, straight from down the bottom.
And he's super bad.
And he's super bad. Hey man, he went all the way from down the bottom to Soul Train. I can remember like it was yesterday, Saturday morning, watching like, yo.
Well, then he had a rim breaker suit on or whatever.
Yeah, he had the hammer pants on and some shiny stuff. That's for sure. He was definitely doing a hammer dance. He went on to sign with MC Hammer and was a part of that whole squad, man. But hey, man,
I don't know how.
definitely. So that was
maybe he was writing for Hammer.
Maybe.
Hammer, don't hurt him. Hammer, don't. Oh, I couldn't stand that.
Me either, yo. Me either. I can't front. The first album he came with what was the first song? I am strong as a lion, hammers flying. Yeah, exactly. Turn this mother out. Hammer, you ain't hitting in New York. So what you got to say about that? Hammer, I'm gonna turn this mother out.
Shiny forehead. Shit. This nigga, he had the Stevie Wonder forehead before Stevie Wonder
had it, right?
He had an 8 head and shit. Like, God
MC
damn.
Hammer, but I used to love Oaktown's 357.
Woo! Nation bunch, huh?
Woo! But yeah, man. Before that, we listened to Das Effect's Hard Like a Criminal. Now, that's a record that was like on the B side of one of the first singles they put out, but it never made the album. And I always thought, like, yo, why didn't they put that? I just think that clearly that album sold millions of copies. I mean, it took them all around the world, but I think it would have taken them even further had they put that record on there because it showed versatility in the form of storytelling, where the way they drew it up on the story was they're from different parts of town and they meet up at like a house party, as used to happen back in the 90s. You hear about a chick, maybe you go to school with, she's having a house party, whatever. You go to the party and then it's like the local dudes from around her way are there, and they trying to start ish or whatever. And sometimes it wouldn't end too well. So it was like both of them telling the narration from two different points of view, and they meet up at the end. I just thought that was ingenious, man. And they doing the Iggity the whole time, man. Hard Like a Criminal is the record, and it was really dope, really, really dope. Before that, what did we listen to? We Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. Woo! I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for the army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. That record is dope on so many levels. And then remember the video came out and it was all the different popular rappers in the jail cell. You know what I mean?
That shit was dope.
That shit was dope. And
I think that made my list, like my top 3, because of the emotional, especially, even at that time, we was all on the whole black power thing. Motherfuckers rocking the African medallions.
That's right.
With the Jamaican colors on it.
That's right. African medallion with Jamaican colors. Right.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, it was just like that shit was nuts. And then that came out. That just galvanized everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't really remember Chuck D doing too many other stories after that.
I don't think he did any stories before that besides you go ooh with ah with a jump in my car. People treat me like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, no matter who you are when you're up to par. I mean, and that wasn't really a story.
Right. Or maybe like She Watched Channel Zero. She watched.
That same CD, same album.
Right. So yeah, man. Storytelling, man. Within the realm of hip hop, immediately for me, people like Biggie come to mind. And I just always say that I like the way Puffy marketed him on that second album,
right.
and fashion his image almost after like
Alfred
Alfred Hitchcock.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That was just crazy.
I mean, because he was the quintessential.
Yes.
I mean, he when I was sitting there, me and True Justice built about that, because that was like one of his top joints. And when he mentioned, I was like, damn, you right. That like, but everything that he did from beginning to end, you know what I'm saying? Both CDs, everything on there was like storytelling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You know, what do you say? Stink pink gators for my Detroit players.
Right.
I mean, he paints a whole story, and
Right.
if you from those areas,
you know
what he talking about.
Exactly.
You know,
all Philly holes, those
mosquito,
and at that time it was
shit.
real. Right.
He might have mosquito t-shirts,
Exactly.
bags.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
It was like,
which leads me to know that he actually did the knowledge, like, because we know he was coming down here. Of course, he grew up like Charlie Baltimore and all that. He was hanging out here, so that lets me know he was really observing what the Philly culture was like at that time. You know what I mean? And taking it all in and saying, okay, let me write about this. Dope. To me, that's the earmark of a really dope MC that's very aware of his surroundings, as well as travels and sees other places, and uses those experiences to put in his rhymes, man. But yeah, man, Biggie, when it came to storytelling, especially them dark, gritty stories, you know what I mean? Like,
who the fuck is this?
Right.
Page of me and that's exactly. I mean, everything. Even that ain't right.
Right.
All his joints was like story joints.
Yes, sir.
Party and bullshit.
Right.
Everything he did was a narrative or story.
Yes, sir.
I didn't pay attention to that until yesterday. I was like, damn, like,
yes, sir.
I mean, he definitely, make my top 5, because my top 5 was, 2 of the joints we heard. One more we gonna play, Love's Gonna Get You. 1.5 pair of pants, you ain't cool. Like,
right.
I mean, you see that in the rap.
Right.
But then True Justice was saying even his other joint, This Is My Life. The track is crazy and he kills it, but on, Love's Gonna Get You, like, nothing. But Here Comes Rob. His gold is shimmery.
Right.
He gives me 200 for a quick delivery. That's like the wordplay is ridiculous. And then, you gotta put Nasir Jones up in there.
Yes, sir.
One Love, like you even hear him like turning the pages. What's up, boy? I'm like, damn. And the track is crazy.
Exactly. I picked another Nas joint called Rewind that he put in there where he spits a story backwards.
Oh shit, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. That probably is a little doper than One Love.
Nas, man, he creativity wise, man, he always makes sure he puts 1 or 2 records on an album that shows the essence
dexterity.
of MC. Right.
That's what I was saying. All right, so this was one of the debates with me and True Justice yesterday.
Right.
Because I mentioned Nas, and then he mentioned Organized Confusion, which is how I really got up on Organized Confusion.
Right.
So he said they had a joint on the same CD when we played the song last week with the duos with Vitro, right?
Right.
They got a joint called Straight Bullet.
Yes. Yeah.
He said that he tried to say that like he couldn't really get Nas the pass because Nas came out with the gun joint.
Right. I Gave You Power.
Right.
Right.
After Straight Bullet. And I'm like, that's about the same time, nigga, because well, no, he got a point there because the joint, was it Black Diamonds and Pearls? That came out in 99.
Right.
And he's right, because he bought Organized Confusion in April 98 when we was going to the Freaknik.
Okay.
Because we rocked it driving down.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's right. It's like almost a year before.
Right.
But I'm like, Nas probably didn't even hear that, or if he did, he didn't base it. He might even had that in his book already.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
See how
I was like, I can't say,
right.
I can't say
They're both
Nas
creative entities. Yeah.
Right. And then I mean, like you look at Nas' pedigree, it's like, come on now.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you, Willfully Boom was able to pull that up, that Straight Bullet joint. I heard it over the phone, and it's crazy, and it caused me because I've always, Monch is nice, but I always like Prince Poe better. Okay. And Prince Poe, the shit that he was doing on Straight Bullet, I'm like, yo, I think because I really got to go back and check out, that organized confusion,
Album, yeah.
because his shit. And then he later on went to work with Danger Mouse. From what I read, and I was like, well, damn, and True was like, it was all right. It wasn't like that. I'm like, I would love to work with him, man. I would love to work with him. I'm like, the shit that I would give a brother like that, or even you, when we get around to it, nothing's gonna compare.
Yes,
I could get, I all day and all night. That ain't nothing. Because if I'm feeling a motherfucker, in the pause, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm gonna have you in your zone to pull some shit out of your ruach that you would never think. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So it's just like, but yeah, that the story joints, man. Like you even put, like you said, on your list. I was like, well, damn, why you choose that? I'm like, I didn't even think about some of the shit you put down.
Yeah. And I immediately also got visions of like EPMD with Jane. And how they were able to, parlay that on every album to the point where you expect you checking for that. That's one that on every record there's gonna be, okay, well, what happened with Jane this time?
I don't think anything was better. Like Redman had, like, he had his thing, Superman Lover,
right?
I don't think any of them was better than Part One.
Yeah,
they
that's true.
Call him the Superman Lover. Gary Guitar Williams. That Redman, and a lot of people sleep on Redman's storytelling.
That's right. That's right.
And he really paid attention to Slick Rick, because if you peep him, he's heavy on the ad libs.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
He's heavy in the ad libs. Like, so I never even paid attention to that to right now.
Right.
Another. There was somebody else that just jumped in and out of my thoughts. Damn, who was the other person that jumped in and out of my thoughts? You mentioned EPMD, you mentioned Redman. Oh shit, somebody's escaping me, man. This is sad. Damn.
Yeah, man, but they definitely do that. Now, another one I put on the list that I thought, actually, when I listened to it, actually is a story. Spoonie G's Love Rap.
That's what I said that too yesterday.
Yeah.
I asked him about that, and he was like, I'm like, yo, that was one of the first.
That's right.
And that shit was banging.
That's right.
Because he laid it down.
Right.
I said, baby, come on over to my car. Tell me your name so I can know who you
are.
Give me your number, address, and all. I might want to see you. I might want to call. Friends up, wherever you be.
Wobbling the dog, just come with me. Right?
Now, who was right? Was he writing his own shit?
I don't know, because he was down with like
the
Kool Moe
Treacherous
D and the
3,
Treacherous 3 and all that. So
I mean, was he some pimp nigga? Like the nigga, the big drug boy, like getting them, and they wrote that he just could spit. Was he the beginning of that? I mean, but you hear them drums. That's the Tower of Power, nigga. Man, please, them drums, and then they got the that percussion coming.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, damn.
Yes, sir.
That was my favorite. They used to have this machine in Tower Records where you could like pick out songs and make a cassette. And this was back in 91. Like the machine popped up in the joint in 91, and I had that on there, and that was like my shit. I used to ride around knocking that because I ain't had a vinyl anymore. But damn, man, Love Rap. Yeah, Love Rap was crazy. Love Rap was absolutely insane. So, I mean, who else though? We talked about Chris. We talked about EPMD.
Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ice Cube told a good story. He tells good stories. Once upon a time in the projects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That goes to neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, he had some shit. You said Redman. Damn, who is somebody that's escaping me? I thought about him before you started talking about EPMD.
I'll put Special Ed on there. I know we've had some talks about whether the authenticity of his writing ability and all that. Yeah. But as far as whoever was writing them records, the mission.
Now the mission is some shit he might have wrote. Like that might have been his twist.
Right.
Because I mean, Little Sean. I mean, nigga, listen, Little Sean was that nigga.
Okay.
Like, anytime Biggie, he never said anything about Fresco in any of his rhymes, but Biggie was like, yo, he fucked with Fresco heavy. And you know, like Fresco was one of his favorite MCs.
I have heard that. I did
Right.
heard that.
He, you know, of course, we know he, you know, him putting Nickies on the neck like Little Sean.
Right.
You know, Little Sean was that nigga too. Little
Right.
Sean was nice. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And because he had the joint, I made love for the very first time
Right.
with you. Yeah, I mean, Little Sean was nice.
Right.
Like, you know what? Akinelli is a story type nigga, but like that, you know what he do? It's like
You couldn't get with the burp style.
Yeah. Like I mean, he did that too much. It wasn't like Daz effects,
Right.
and I'm like, I love Akinelli, but then he just like he was cool, you know, live at the barbecue, but then he wanted to try to turn that into like a whole, like, dude, like you ain't. One time this guy, you know what I'm saying? Maybe twice on the whole CD, but not every song. Like that shouldn't be your calling card. Like
I'm rich and thick and lyrics like Aunt Your Mama.
What?
It doesn't take key to know the ways to say the armor. Get your sucker if you bite like a piranha. So say the preschool rhymes for the kids that want to rhyme.
Right, you see what I'm saying? It would work for that
with no comma. Yeah, man.
It worked for that. I mean, you know,
no.
Large Professor only did it once.
Okay.
No, he did it a couple of times. Friendly Game of Baseball, I guess, would be like that, right?
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
I
sir.
mean, I'm gonna tell you, and this was one of EST's favorite joints. I'm normally known for the rough raps, but kids still my lyrics like hubcaps. They eat them like stacks of flapjacks. They rug racks. Hey, I like it busy over unknown track. Yo, that yeah, like you know, Large Professor. I don't know what happened to him lyrically after that CD. But I
he put out a joint like I want to say 09, 010.
I don't want to.
That was really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good. It had
his
joints with
follow-up
Nas and Core Mega on there. Yeah.
I ain't know that. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, check his discography.
I gotta check that out.
And that you should mention EST. He's probably got arguably one of the most famous story raps in hip hop as well.
Funky Dividend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Rob.
Yes, sir.
Rob. Yeah.
Right. The world is very different now.
Damn, I ain't think about that.
Man. Yeah.
I ain't think about that.
Yes, sir.
Damn, one of the most creative, man. The top 5 out of Philly to me.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Top 5. I mean, look, Breeze. Did Joey B. Ellis make Arsenio?
I'm not sure if he made Arsenio, but 3 Times Dope definitely did.
That's where you're damn right.
Right. Dancing and everything.
Everything. Were they wearing the Jordans then?
That I'm not sure.
It's on YouTube. You gotta check it out during the break. I mean, I think as they listen, man. But it's just cool.
I even checked out a MC Shan record. You remember she ran with another man and left me lonely.
Yeah. I was like,
oh man, that was my shot, man.
I mean, you probably been better off putting Project Ho and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that would fit too.
Project Ho.
Project
Ho. That shit on Jane, stop this. That joint was jumping. Yeah, that Jane was spoken, but the joint left me lonely. I'm like, you might as well put LL, you know what I mean? I need love or some shit.
Hey, man, it's crazy. But for one hot second in hip hop, MC Shan was like the best rapper.
What?
For a hot second.
Never.
When his album came out,
Never.
He was crushing the game.
He was. He had some shit. Man. He had some shit.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, he killed that.
Shan had that title for a minute, man.
That was my favorite joint. My name is MC Shan. Damn. That's what he used. I forget the name of that sample.
I know what record you're talking about.
know.
Yeah, for sure.
That girl, yeah, he was, like Down by Law. That was Down by Law.
That's the right title track.
Down by Law. Down by Law. Yeah, he killed that joint, man.
Right.
I mean, he was never like lyrical though.
You never thought Shan was lyrical?
Never.
I didn't think that his bars were complex, but I thought that he had those definitive lines that was like, Come on, the only thing you could do that would make me mad is take away my pen and my hip hop pad. Take that away, I'd have nothing left. So let it go free or sentence me to death. Come on, man. MC
I mean, you might as
Shan.
well say Cool C then, because
No, Cool C wasn't that adept. He
hey,
just had the
listen,
voice.
they had both had the same voice. I mean, like MC Shan was. I mean, I don't remember the lyrics, but I remember they used to do it out in the park off the second album.
Right.
And I helped pioneer this. That track was
Woo!
crazy.
How could I fall off, boy?
I helped pioneer this. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Shan was all right. He wouldn't even make my top 20. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he make
What's interesting is out of the great 3, arguably /4, perhaps 5 rappers of the golden age that we look to. Of course, off top, we're talking immediately about Kane, Rakim, Chris, maybe G-Rap, and LL.
Right.
Not all of them were like really, really good storytellers.
No, not at all. Yes.
Except for KRS-One. You know, all the rest of them, definitely had battle bars and, very complex styles, multi-syllabic rhymes and all that. But as far as like a real story, I'm not really getting that from like the great 3, great 4. But with that being said, I think it's perhaps time that we get into another sound set, and we're going to keep it moving down the line. Again, this is the official last word under the umbrella of Big Bad Radio. I am the Last Emperor. Stay tuned as we listen to some tunes. Hold it down.
Love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Let us move on.
Yeah. And we're back on the official last word
Under the umbrella
of Big
Bad
Bad
Radio.
Radio. That was Love's Gonna Get You by the incomparable KRS-One during the BDP era. Arguably one of the best hip hop stories of all time. Definitely served as like a public service announcement about selling drugs. As always, Chris using his ability to edutain.
That's where it began, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We also listen to what? EPMD, Jane. You know what I mean? One of the greatest, almost like soap operas within the realm of hip hop. You had to stay tuned every album to see.
That was the first.
Yes, to see what happened to Jane. You know what I mean? And first album, it started off as, just something fun to listen to, a little funny, hee ha. And they did it on every album. Definitely. Organized Confusion. Come on, man. Stray Bullet. Prince Poe and Pharoah Monch, definitely incredible. Something that in this era of the Kendrick Lamars and the J. Coles and people like that who really use multi-syllabic rhyming and just rap that are definitely kind of like Organized Confusion. A group like that definitely pioneered those sorts of songs, and were very creative, very creative. To this day, Pharoah Monch is just one of those guys who knows how to not only put words together, but definitely serve as an example of the technical side of rhyming. So definitely Stray Bullet is something that many people can look at in terms of an example. Again, you're listening to the official last word under the umbrella of Big Bad Radio. I am the Last Emperor. This is the edition where we delve into the storytellers. Previously we listened to the Notorious B.I.G. I got a story to tell as well. May he rest in power. Biggie definitely was the type of MC who had it all, showed a lot of dexterity in his rhyming technique, and was the ill storyteller. Again, I think it was really ingenious of P. Diddy to come up with the whole concept of making Biggie somewhat the Alfred Hitchcock of rap. For those of us who remember Alfred Hitchcock, it was definitely a television show and a series that dealt with very, how should we say, almost like horror or dark drama topics, almost like a moral to the story of each episode. And the way that he delivered introducing the episodes was very dark and scary for some. And Biggie definitely captured that, whether he was rhyming about local drug dealers he knew or somebody attempting to try to harm him and kill him. Biggie was just very descriptive, very descriptive indeed. And as far as his era is concerned, I would have to definitely give it up to somebody like Nas with records like One Love, and I know on Stillmatic he did a record called Rewind that was very technical and just ingenious. And not only did he tell a story, but he told a story backward. And to me, that was like just really incredible and something that
Dexterous.
Exactly. So only an MC with a lot of lyrical dexterity could do to even just come up with that concept.
Yeah, like that. I wonder how many tracks he used to do that.
Right. Right.
If he did that like in 1 or 2 takes, we arguably dealing with one of the finest minds
Right.
and on the planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Especially given how much ganja he's consumed.
Yes, sir. And again, that's just one record. We're not even talking about I Gave You Power or many of the other records that he's put together, man. So right up there with the Storytellers has to be Nas, man.
Absolutely.
Has to be Nas. I even put Brad from the Ghetto Boys. I mean, I know a few weeks ago we played Mind Playing Tricks on Me, but to me, that's one of the greatest storytelling records in rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's been an orative motherfucker too, because like even when he came out with the solo project,
right?
You know, for real, they call me Scarface.
Right.
I mean, I mean, he definitely he's up there.
Yes, sir.
He's up there. I wouldn't quite put that song, but he's up there. I mean, you know, because it's like 3 different variations. I'm given the fact that he wrote all 3 different perspectives, or 4, because he tells one story and then tells another from his perspective. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, man,
it's up there.
Yes, sir.
He's up there. I mean, my top 5. You already named Nas. You gotta put Slick Rick.
That's right.
You know, I put Chuck up there just only on the merits of that song and the emotional and the impact that it had at that time.
I ain't mad at that.
You know, Karis 1 and Biggie. Right. That's my top 5.
Right.
Like, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to round out the top 10, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, those is definitely, you know, a solid top 5. And it's funny, like you said, you know, Kane, he was never really a storyteller.
Not at all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you said that about G-Rap had, you know, he was a storyteller though.
Right.
I mean, because his
top, man, how could I forget about Ill Street Blues?
Right. And then, Brother on the Run.
Right.
I mean, both of those, that's when he really got in the story. It was like his joints was saga films.
Sagas, right.
Right. You know.
Right.
But yeah,
listen, it's been a great show. I have to cut out, but the party doesn't have to stop with me. Okay. We're gonna definitely get into many, many more stories here on the Official Last Word. If I can throw out there right now, I don't know if we found the Onyx joint. I highly recommend anybody checking out Veronica by Onyx. We're definitely, yeah, man. It was off the Shut 'Em Down album that came out, I believe, 98. And it tells a story of a girl named Veronica and how she set them up to be robbed. Powerful record. Powerful.
You saying record. That we had to play the joint Renee.
Right. To play that as well. Yeah. Lost Boys for sure.
That's one of their best joints.
For
That's
sure.
Not the number 1 cut.
For
besides, Lights, Camera, Action.
Definitely.
But yeah, that narrative, I mean, that story is crazy.
Well, ladies and gents, I'm going to say peace. Listen to the rest of the tunes. Enjoy the rest of the show. And join us here next week for another exciting episode. I'm going to hand it over to Be Righteous.
Peace.